took us over 2.5 years to develop Aristishield. We combined urethane with Aristishield alkyd water-based resin. At the end of the day, we ended up with a really great product. Regardless of what paint you purchase, it's all about the resin technology that's utilized. Your urethane technology is by far the Cadillac in resin chemistry.
Aristishield is a water-based urethane alkyd resin coating that was developed for use on a wide array of projects. For example, high-end residential, commercial, and industrial projects where superior durability and performance are needed. It can be used on garage doors, handrails, wrought iron. The key benefit of Aristishield is that it's going to provide you a longer lasting finish. It's going to look nicer longer. It has excellent color fade resistance and gloss retention properties. It also has excellent adhesion on different types of substrates. It has DTM properties. It can be applied directly to metal without a primer. It's the use of the high performance resin technology that's going to allow it to have better color fade resistance and gloss retention.
We put Aristishield through extensive testing to ensure it outperforms the competition in adhesion, flexibility, hardness, and block resistance. We apply the paint to the substrate. We allowed it to cure overnight, and then we will test adhesion by cutting through the paint with a razor blade and then apply tape to that area, and then we rip it off. The more paint removed from the surface, the worse the adhesion is of that product. Aristishield adheres better. We also test to see if moisture affects the paint's adhesion by doing the same test as before, but adding a square piece of paper towel and saturating with water for 10 minutes. We remove the wet paper towel and dry the sample and apply the tape. Wet or dry, Aristishield adheres better than the competition. The flexibility of a coating is important to be able to resist sudden impacts or damage. To measure this, we run both the direct and indirect impact testing. The painted side of the panel is placed face up in the apparatus, and then we'll lift a weight up to different heights, anywhere from 3 inches all the way up to over 3 feet, and drop it onto the steel panel, which will create a dent in the steel. If a coating is unable to move with the deformation of the steel, it will crack or in severe cases completely flake off the surface. Aristishield consistently outperforms the competition for impact resistance, making it a better choice.
With other alkyd emulsion products, if they're too hard, they become brittle. In high impact areas, the coating can actually come off the substrate. If it's applied on doors and it's too soft, it'll cause it to stick together. Aristishield actually solves both of those issues, as it's hard enough not to stick to itself, but also flexible enough for those high impact areas where it's not going to crack or be damaged for high use.
Block resistance is essentially where two painted surfaces come together in contact, and it'll have a tendency to stick to itself. We'll do a drawdown of the paint onto a panel, cut it into 1.5 inch squares, place the panels face to face so that the painted surfaces are in contact with each other, put a weight on top so that we have a consistent amount of pressure, place it in the oven at 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Those panels will get removed from the oven, and then that's where we attempt to pull them apart and rate them. In the case of Aristishield, you'll notice that there's very little tack and there's no paint film removal. In all 3 lab tests, Aristishield clearly outperforms the competition. But don't take our word for it. Listen to what painters have to say about how it stacks up in the real world.
What we found out was by using Aristishield directly rather than what we started with, which was a DTM primer, that I applied, it adhered a lot better.
Aristishield has changed my business because I'm getting jobs done faster, more efficient, because of the fact I don't have to prime.
It's the best of both worlds. It has water-based with alkyd technology, urethane resins.
The customer's really happy with the finished product, and so are we.
It flows and levels really nice, like the old oil-based paints, but it allows you to handle it faster because it dries quicker. We can use it on metal awnings, doors, railings. When I give someone an estimate, they're looking at us as the professionals, as the resource. So when I have products like Aristishield that do what they say they're gonna perform and give the customer the best value for their money, that has helped my business to grow, and I appreciate that.